Casting an agarose gel. This video is about agarose gel electrophoresis. In this video you will learn how to cast an agarose gel, how to load DNA samples and how to run the gel. The materials you need are TAE buffer, agarose powder, a gel tray, gel dam, an electrophoresis unit and a power unit. Make sure that all the materials required are present and check that they are clean. If there are traces of agarose, first clean the equipment with demi-water. For safety reasons, handle equipment that comes into contact with CyberSafe with gloves. Always remember that your gloves are then contaminated and do not touch other surfaces with these gloves. Determine in advance whether you will need a large or small gel. This depends on the number of samples you want to load onto the gel. Do not forget to include the ladder when counting. In this video, we are going to cast a small agarose gel. Start by clamping the gel tray in a dam. Make sure that the tray is clamped firmly so there will be no leaks. You can also seal the sides with tape. Make sure that the tape is pressed firmly against the edges of the tray to prevent leakages. Now place the comb in the gel tray. If you have a lot of samples, you can always use a second comb. Now the gel tray is ready, we can prepare the agarose gel. For the agarose gel and electrophoresis, you need a 1 times TAE buffer. To make this, dilute the 50 times TAE stock solution with demi-water. To do this, use a measuring cylinder. Weigh out the desired amount of agarose using weighing scales. If you don't remember how to use weighing scales correctly, watch the instruction video in this series of videos about weighing scales. You can now mix the agarose and TAE buffer together in a bottle. Always use a large bottle so that the agarose does not overflow when being heated up. Mix the agarose with the TAE buffer by swirling gently. Avoid shaking the bottle as agarose powder can get stuck on the walls of the bottle and the lid. After adding the 1 times TAE buffer to the agarose, boil the solution in the microwave. Note that the lid is off the bottle. Check every 30 seconds if the agarose has already been dissolved. Wear heat-protecting gloves and be aware of flash boiling. When heating agarose in the microwave, flash boiling may occur. Never grab the bottle quickly out of the microwave, but always handle the bottle carefully. The agarose is completely melted when the liquid is clear without agarose crystals. This can be checked by gently swirling the bottle. Before you can use the melted agarose, it must be cooled to a temperature that your hand can withstand touching. In the meantime, you can prepare the gel tray in the fume hood. Pipette the CyberSafe into the gel tray. If the bottle is cool enough to touch, you can pour it carefully into the gel tray, but avoid making bubbles. Using a pipette with a pipette tip on it, mix the CyberSafe carefully through the still fluid agarose. Again, take care not to form air bubbles. Any air bubbles that have formed can be pushed to the side with the pipette tip. Before the gel can be used, it first has to set. This takes about half an hour. While the gel sets, you can get the electrophoresis tank and power unit ready. When the gel is set, it looks a little milky. Remove the gel tray from the dam. The gel tray can now be placed in the electrophoresis tank. It's important that the gel is correctly positioned, otherwise the DNA will migrate to the wrong end. Fill the electrophoresis tank with 1 times TAE buffer until the gel is just covered, then carefully remove the comb. Make sure the gel is positioned correctly. DNA will migrate to the positive electrode, so the wells must be placed closest to the negative electrode. Carefully pipette the DNA samples mixed with loading buffer into the wells. When all the samples with controls and ladders are loaded, close the tank and turn on the power supply. Always check that the electrophoresis unit is working properly. There should be bubbles forming at each of the electrodes. After a few minutes, check to see if the dye is moving in the right direction. If it is not set up correctly, you can stop and restart the electrophoresis. When the gel has run far enough, you can stop the electrophoresis. Move the tray from the tank and place it in a tray. To analyse the DNA, the gel is illuminated with UV light. CyberSafe bound to DNA will then light up. Gloves are used to handle the gel, however the device is operated without gloves. The operation of the device is not described in detail in this video. If you have a sharp and clear picture, take an image of the gel. Save the image on a USB stick. You can always take multiple photos. When you're finished, the gel is discarded and throw away the gel in the correct waste bin. Remember to leave the equipment clean for the next user.